alive right now, right? It's pretty clear. It's, by our observation, by our calculation, by some material means, we can accept that. By some empirical means, by actually being able to measure something, we can accept that. But you can see that generally faith, it kind of is more on the level of, like, you say belief, you can say personal opinion, and it shapes the way we live. Faith determines the way we live. For example, some may believe in God and some may not believe in God. And that determines how you live your life. Those who believe in God live under some particular principles of life, of, whatever they may be, the afterlife, and so you do good to others, you do good to your neighbor, you feed the hungry. As a God-conscious person, there's 3 levels of that, of course, also. And compared to someone who's not God-conscious, for example, someone who is not, who doesn't have faith in God, then they may say, well, I don't believe in God, this life is the only life, and you just enjoy life and that's it. You come into this world, and then you leave the world and that's it. There's nothing after that, there was nothing before, and there will be nothing afterwards. It shapes our attitudes, shapes the way we live, shapes the way we behave, shapes the way we think. So it is a very important aspect of our life, what is faith, and understanding what faith is. So, and everybody, like I was saying, everybody lives differently. Just like some believe in God, but they don't believe that the animals are meant to be, dominion. We have dominion over the animals, so they kill the animals, and they eat the animals, and they perform violence in that way. Some others, vegetarians may be there, under the idea that we should protect the animals. So, a particular type of faith makes one's whole perspective on life different. Just like there was one cult group back in the day. What was that? They believed, they had faith that the ship is coming and they're going to go to the afterlife. So the leader convinced them that if you drink this particular poison, that we'll all catch the ship. What was it? Jim Jones, yeah? That was a big, huh?
Jim Jones.
Yeah, Jim Jones. And they believed that. They were completely, obviously, stupid belief. It's completely crazy. So, that they go to the promised land. And they had complete faith in that, and they drank that. And it's 100 people or so, or is it something like that? How many people? Hundreds of people just committing suicide on the level of faith. So faith is a very powerful thing. It is very, very powerful. It has the ability to completely shift your life, as some of us have experienced in our own lives. So it influences how we live, how we look at the world, what we do with our lives. And so, as that famous quote in the Bible is there, I think, that faith can move mountains. It is beyond anything material almost. It's a very subtle thing. It almost seems like it's just a change of a mindset or a change of a belief. But it can completely either build civilization or destroy civilizations. As we've seen with Hitler's whole case, his faith, in that, well, we're the greatest of civilization, the Jew, we have to kill the Jews, and so he killed off a bunch of people and almost wiped out a whole civilization on the faith that we are better than them. So if the faith is right, it can make our life very successful. As, like I was saying, we have experience of that, of having faith in Krishna consciousness. We are seeing that how our life has become a success from having faith in Krishna consciousness, and how it could have been a complete disaster also, for example, with the Jim Jones incident. So faith in the wrong thing can spoil your whole life, and faith in the right thing can make your life successful. So it seems like a pretty important thing to consider in our lives, because actually we all live on faith. We all live on faith. You really do. You have to have faith that when you got in your car today, that you will not get into a crash. You have to have faith that when you go to sleep, that you will wake up tomorrow morning. You have to have faith in pretty much everything you do. well, it's almost like a given that, okay, I'm going to wake up tomorrow. We think at least that's a given. That's a given that when I get in my car, I'll safely arrive at the next location. But you don't actually know. You can't actually measure it. You can't actually say that, well, is that exactly what will happen? Well, it's your belief. It's your conviction. Otherwise, if you didn't have faith, then you couldn't do anything, actually. You wouldn't be able to do anything with your life. You couldn't walk out of this door. Who knows, next minute, somebody could drive by and shoot you. Nobody knows. You could be drinking water, whatever, who was saying that. I think my spiritual master was saying that. The water could be laced with cyanide. You don't know what's in that water. You don't know. You don't know what would happen if you walked in this. You don't know if this floor is going to cave in or not at any time. We don't know anything. But we have faith. We have faith that actually things are going to move forward. And actually our whole life is based on that. That eventually we have faith that our life will be nice. Otherwise, why would you live? Right? Especially if, those who, I think all of us, maybe, is there anybody who hasn't gone through a miserable situation in life? I think all of us have, to some extent. And so, in that miserable situation, or in a good situation, we always have faith that we'll come out of this, or that there is a better situation in life. Otherwise, why will you continue living? Because life is so hellish, what's the point if you don't have a vision or belief that actually you'll get out of this? Huh? Yeah, you commit suicide. People don't have faith that life will get better, so then they commit suicide. So it plays a big role, although the scientists decry that faith. Scientists and rationalists, they think we are irrational for having faith. But they don't understand, actually, that is more or less what every living entity functions on. Without that, you cannot function. Even the rationalists and the philosophers and the scientists, they all live on faith. They cannot live differently. Actually, all their theories of faith. All the scientists, it's all faith. Some faith that, yes, this calculation is correct. Yes, we did not make a mistake. They believe it, they have faith in their own intellect. So, it plays a big role in our lives, so Krishna speaks quite a lot about it. Now, we're not going to completely dive into that too much because it's a big section, but just kind of a discussion of this. So, what happens in modern society is that actually you'll see more and more that people don't have faith that there is actually a particular right thing to have faith in. That there's no one specific thing that you should put your faith in. That everybody has their own path. Life is what you make it. There is no set reality. So it's hard to actually put faith in anything in modern society also, because we see pretty much like, we're talking about Jim Jones, God. It's like, what a scary thing. And so people believe that, okay, there is no real set reality. Nobody has the answers. Everybody has their own answers. Everybody has their own path. Even that is a lack of faith in anything is also faith. It's a faith to have lack of faith in anything. So again, back to the thing is you have to have faith that there is that you shouldn't have faith in anything. So you have to have faith that nothing can be trusted. So I don't believe in anything, or there's the people, I don't believe in anything. We've met those people too. I don't believe in anything at all. Okay, my spiritual master says, well, do you believe in what you just said? Do you have faith in what you just said? If yes, then you believe something. If no, then you're contradicting yourself. Then we meet people who, you live and you learn. You live and you learn, you go on learning, right? You go on accumulating knowledge, philosophy. There's no fixed philosophy. Refine and adjust and move. keep going forward, just keep moving forward. And you just kind of, as you go, you adjust your philosophy like this and like that. Just like in the Bhagavatam, it gives that if there's a pain here, then you adjust the boulder on the other side and make it feel a little nicer on this side, but you still got the boulder on this side. No real solution, just that we move forward and try to figure life out ourselves. But then they place their, like I was saying, they place their faith in their own ability to discriminate correctly. You have to have faith that you're making the proper discrimination of what is right, what is wrong. You have to have faith that you will be able to make that judgment correctly. And it's in our lives, a lot of times that judgment is not so good. And it sounds amazing, all of these people, your own path, and your make life, learn as you go, and do all of these. Sounds amazing and high and beautiful. I'm very open-minded and this and that. But what does it end in? What is the result? Same thing as any non-philosopher. Hedonistic, piggish hedonism. Enjoyment, that's all. That's the end of it. Try to enjoy in different ways. So this faith plays a big role in our life, in where we go, what we do, how we function. So in Krishna consciousness, we're all also interested in this faith. We're interested in the faith, thank you, that which was, like I was saying, decried by the atheist and the scientist and such. Because, they're valid to some extent also. Because we see in the West, especially within the Abrahamic religions, is blind faith. Now, Bhagavad Gita, we're talking faith. Like we're saying, everybody has faith. But we see blind faith. So then that's what they decry, right? In different religions. Why do you believe what you believe? Just because. Why? Just because. The scripture said it. That's it. Finished. That's all. Believe in Jesus. That's it. No real rational, logical thing. Why should you do it? You just believe, you surrender, and that's it. That's it. Jesus will save you now. That's all. You don't have to do anything. Just believe. So that presents a problem, because they don't take much in defining what it means to have that belief. It's just like a slogan. It's just okay. Just do it because we're a religion. You just accept Jesus as the highest thing. That's okay. But why? You question why? Just because we said so. Because our scripture says so. That's it, right? You should just completely accept it. Some people have some intelligence to ask why. Right? That's what the human form of life is for. Why? Questions and answers, as Srila Prabhupada says. Everybody's asking questions and answers. And the human form of life is meant for asking good questions. So, blind faith presents a problem. Blind faith can put us in a not such a good situation in life. And so this blind faith is not good at all. It's just like we're saying, they may have blind faith, and we may challenge them, just like we've whoever's been on the streets sometimes and discussing with different religions or different philosophers or different people, that you may even convince them or defeat them philosophically in every sense. But at the end of it, they say, well, that's just what you believe. What happened? What's the point of discussing? Just like I've had multiple, you spend like half an hour discussing with someone and just by point, really like just cutting that philosophy apart, and at the end of it, you're going to hell anyways. So like, where's the logic and reason and understanding? Why? Just because. People are not willing to change their faith. They're stuck faith, or they're not willing to consider intellectually. They just want to take blind faith. So, why? Well, the nature is that by faith, by different types of faith, that faith which is rooted in material understanding, that which doesn't go beyond just material understanding, it is ultimately to try to facilitate one's own enjoyment. We're talking about this hedonism, to try to have enjoyment in life. Because when one has to change, when one has to accept to be wrong, there's not a very position of you won't be able to get enjoyment out of that because you realize you're all wrong. And that's not, generally, we don't like to be wrong. So you can argue and convince people of so many things. People will come say, well, I'm open-minded, I want to believe I accept all faiths. But then say, well, here's some logic, we logically defeat them. But they go on believing what they believe, even if they can't uphold their philosophy, or if there is a philosophy, first of all. Most of the time they don't have a philosophy, because as long as you say, okay, I don't want to discuss scripture. We say that to the Christians. We say, let's not discuss on the level of scripture. Because you say yours is better, and I'll say mine is better. And that's faith. You could say that's like blind faith. But let's just discuss on the level of logic and reason. Finished, that's all. There's no philosophy. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is not coming at it like that. Krishna doesn't come into Arjuna saying, well, I'm God, you just accept what I say. Although the situation is very crazy for Arjuna, actually. He's in a very difficult situation. But Krishna doesn't come and say, well, I'm God, you just have to accept everything that I say. Krishna gives knowledge by which Arjuna, he examines properly, by which he understands how Krishna is God. How Krishna is God, who God is. And this faith is defined. Real faith, elevated faith, is that it should be based on the principle. It should to accept principles beyond human perception. We accept that on the level of higher authority. Our faith is not based on our own intelligence. That is the difference between the scientists, the materialists, and the so-called philosophers. Is this faith is not based on our own intelligence, because we understand our intelligence is so limited. Take that into consideration, that we may not be able to see everything ourselves, may not be able to capture everything within our intelligence. So this elevated faith, higher faith, real faith, beyond blind faith, means to accept higher authority. And that higher authority, how can you tell their higher authority? Well, by their attitudes, by their behavior, by their practice, and not just that, of how they speak and how they act, but that their activities are backed by scripture. That this scripture is called Aparushaya, that which is coming from beyond the platform of material existence, coming from someone who is not contaminated or defective, completely perfect in knowledge. And so this basis of faith established on what is in Krishna consciousness called Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Sadhu, Shastra means scripture, just like knowledge that is spoken by God. God, by definition, we take to be perfect. And then Sadhu, one who teaches that knowledge, who expounds that knowledge, and Guru, who gives it according to time, place, circumstance, and the advancement of the individual in order to bring him up further. So they're all in line with Shastra in the center, because that is what God is taught. So when one acts according to that knowledge, when one starts to act according to that knowledge, it's not just faith, but he sees the practical difference in his life. He sees a transformation in his life. He sees that he is becoming purified from the tendency to try to just enjoy in this material world. So his faith in Krishna consciousness is based on this knowledge. So the activities that come with that, the fruits of the practice of Krishna consciousness is not just some theory. Is when one applies that, he sees what is being talked about actually present in his life, the qualities that is being explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Purification takes place. One becomes compassionate. One sees, one gains proper knowledge. One becomes peaceful. One comes to this platform of becoming, understanding that one is a spirit soul. He starts to see just beyond this material world. So often, and you'll see generally, people who have material faith or want to enjoy materially, they look from outside, and when they look at the devotees or look at those who are practicing Krishna consciousness seriously, they may laugh. Because by our faith, we become poor, you could say, to some extent. We have faith in Krishna consciousness, but we're more or less, it's externally, it's like we've deprived ourselves from all enjoyment. It's like, what do you have? Well, don't have money, you ain't got a family, you ain't got anything, at least for those who have renounced, and living in the renounced order of life. So it looks like a position of distress. And so why would one do that? Why would one place one's faith in something that completely takes everything out of his life? What do you have? Nothing. But Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that this material faith is actually for the less intelligent. Those who are less intelligent, they place their faith in this material society, in material endeavor, in happiness in material things. Because ultimately, what is it? Dukhalayam ashashvatam. What does it do? Ultimately, what does faith in material things do? Simply brings about misery to the living entity. But a renunciation of that material desire, a renunciation of the materialistic way of life, an acceptance of the spiritual way of life, spiritual faith, faith in Krishna consciousness, it brings about great happiness within one's heart. Redefining what is happiness. Going back to actually the roots of what is real happiness. There's real substance. So this Krishna consciousness movement, it is presenting the highest knowledge of the self. It is presenting the high absolute knowledge. Just like actually there's devotees in 75 or 76 presented to Srila Prabhupada that they went to this interfaith meeting. And they had all their discussions, and when the devotees came up, they say, now let us discuss the absolute truth. And nobody liked that. They got kicked out for that one. Why? Because their idea is, well, we want to accept God as our way of life, as we see it. We don't want to know exactly what the truth is. We all have different ideas of God, and no one should claim absolute knowledge. So what is it? It's just, they're mostly interested in just throwing around some intellectual ideas in the name of religion, but not interested in what is actually the real truth, what is real knowledge. Approaching it from an umbrella of conditioning of material life. I am Christian, therefore I can only believe these things. I'm Hindu, therefore I can only believe these things. I am a Muslim, therefore I can only believe these things. And anything beyond that, then I cannot believe. Even if it is logical, even if it is proper. And sometimes it's so crazy. Within the books it says, the demons will try to convince you with logic and reason. It's like, that doesn't sound right. What else are you meant to use to come to a conclusion? So blind faith. But this Krishna consciousness movement is giving real faith. It is giving real knowledge, by which one can make real advancement. Therefore, we are not shy to have a discussion about what is absolute truth. We're not shy. Devotees are not shy. They're very learned. And not everybody can understand, actually. Not everybody can understand. Just like, I studied complex calculus 3 in university. Now, if I wrote something up, you wouldn't even understand that's maths. Why? Because there's no numbers in it. But you learned in primary school and high school, maths is what? About numbers, right? 1 + 1 = 2. Oh, I almost said 3. So Prabhupada says 1 plus 1 equals 1, right? But 1 plus 1 equals 2. That's maths, right? 2 times 3, such and such. But when you get to a higher level of calculus, it's more philosophy than just whatever semantics, whatever, just some calculations. You won't even understand if I put that up. It got some weird lines going on, and what the heck is going on? But the professor understands. He knows this is a higher level of understanding. This is actually the ultimate level of understanding from your algebra in class. Finding x, that's like the classic joke, right? Find your x. And so, anyways, that's what we had when we were in high school. So they can't understand. But the understanding of knowledge is more developed in the professor. It's a higher level of knowledge. It's not all the same. People say sometimes, well, all religions are the same. No, not particularly. There's higher levels of understanding, and Krishna consciousness brings us to the highest level of understanding of spiritual life, because it gives us who is God, what is the name of God, what does He do, what does He like, what does He eat, and how to situate our life and our consciousness completely in relationship with Him, so that we can begin to come to the platform of spiritual existence. It gives the complete science of that and allows us to explain and understand all the intricacies of life. So faith in this, is it just blind faith? Are we here just with sitting here just believing what we believe, and then you believe what you believe? No. There's deep understanding, there's deep thought into what is going on in this world. More than anybody that I've ever seen. You can go to these philosophers, you can go to these scientists. They haven't thought much about what life actually is. Well, how do I know? Well, it's kind of what I do at the universities, and just poke at people and see how intelligent they actually are. So many philosophies are there, and so many people are presenting so many things, and varieties of philosophy in this world come about. Why? Because of the varieties of enjoyment people want. Ultimately, everybody's after selfish desire. So then, so many different philosophies are there. It's a good way to avoid the surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Different faiths are there to avoid that. So the Krishna Consciousness movement helps us, and the duty of the Krishna Consciousness movement is to reestablish that faith, real faith, in the mass people of this world, to help them come to the platform of real life, reality, in which they will actually get real happiness, in which we'll actually have real substance in our life, in which we don't have to, it's not a hope for the hope of happiness, it's reality, it's right there. So this Krishna Consciousness movement is presenting the highest knowledge of existence, whether material, spiritual, whatever you want, however you want to define it. And one can actually come to this level by beginning the process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And by chanting of the holy name, our faith in Krishna becomes firm. And by that firm faith in Krishna consciousness, we start to see beyond this material. Shraddhavan Janahe Bhakti Adhikar. We get entrance into bhakti, into that loving relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in which you experience, when you get that experience, there's no going back. It becomes factual. It no longer becomes just belief. It becomes factual in one's life. So, this is what the Krishna Consciousness movement is. It's not just some blind faith, but it is some real faith, and by which if we live our lives, it completely changes our life from what was unsuccessful to every moment being successful. Because every moment we're trying to serve Krishna. Every moment we're trying to engage in serving Krishna. So we encourage people, as he's going to hand out these beads, to chant the holy name of the Lord and come to this platform of real existence, real spiritual existence, one's real nature. So please take it up. I hope everybody, you chanting?
I am.
Good.
Yes,
All right.
I am.
Good. I think like 3 weeks ago we had a talk about that, right? So good improvement. How long?
Like 16 times. You've done 5.
5 rounds?
She has, and I've done 16 like a couple times.
Oh my God. All right. Thank God. Everything I'm speaking is not just 1 year and out there. Okay. It's something. So thank you very much for listening. And if there's any questions or comments, we have a lot of time. So please.
No, we're speaking about faith and how when we don't have faith, that things will get better. We just commit suicide. And it's very interesting because in humans, suicide is a conscious decision. It's a choice. It's a conscious choice. And animals don't make that. Like there is absolutely no instance of animals committing suicide. And animals can go through lives of complete and total suffering, such as those animals who are very unfortunate to have to live their entire lives in these horrible conditions where they're being raised for slaughter. But still, they don't consciously make the choice to kill themselves.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. Wow.
Humans are the only ones who consciously make that choice and commit suicide, which again drives the point to how this human form of life is a very important juncture, a very valuable gift to us, whereby we can make the conscious choice to get liberated from the cycle of birth and death. It's the only life form where we can make conscious choices. Animals don't make conscious choices, therefore they don't gain karma. They only expend karma. We can get out of karma altogether in this human form of life. And the human form of life is it's so amazing because you could generate so much karma by making wrong choices in one lifetime, and that can take you millions of lifetimes to get back to this position. It's just one lifetime can generate so much karma. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Because we have choice.
Yeah. Lately I've been thinking about that. The only person that can mess this one up is myself. Really, that's how it is. It's like you really think about it and you have a lot of room, and especially like you see thousands of people, millions of people, and although they have the human form of life, they're not able to come to this platform of recognizing what is like the real position of life. And then we have an opportunity where we're studying something deeply, and it's like, well, I'm the only one that can mess this one up. Like somehow or rather, I've got this opportunity, and so yeah, it's just like it's amazing. Yeah, that's a really good point. Never thought about that. Anything else? Any questions?
Yeah, I speak to a lot of people when I'm doing books. They'll actually go through the Bhagavad Gita, like Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and they're like atheists, And then you also see, I know some people who come into the temple, they're chanting Hare Krishna, and then they just, for years, and they just fall away. So on this point of faith, it just seems like if Krishna consciousness, it affords the highest bliss and knowledge, and people, they actually have faith in that, they might even get some bliss, but then they fall away. I never understood that, why certain people are able to stay in Krishna consciousness and others aren't, even when they have faith in it.
So Guru Maharaj speaks about this, and he says specifically that, so the discrimination of those who desire sense gratification is spoiled. So when you consider sense gratification at the forefront of your life, then you have no discrimination. It's like what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that pavritim cha, nivritim cha, that they don't know what is right, what is wrong. Why? Because that demoniac mentality is to try to enjoy one's self, one try to gain enjoyment in this world. So generally we see that people, they take the Bhagavad Gita as Srila Prabhupada's, whatever purports as an opinion, like the scholars, and then sometimes we see people come in to Krishna consciousness and they read and they're nice and they practice and they experience some happiness in Krishna consciousness, but then they slowly veer off because, again, that desire for material enjoyment. As soon as that becomes the forefront of our life, then we should understand our discrimination is spoiled. We can't understand what is real and what is not. But when that's, by the practice of Krishna consciousness and the experience of Krishna consciousness, when that's not there, then we can see Krishna consciousness clearly. You'll see that in your life. Like, for myself, when I first started Krishna consciousness, there's no way. I was like, there's no way I'm doing this. It's like, I like the kirtan, I like the music, but that's it, boss. I'm not doing nothing else. Because why? Because I was like, I want to enjoy it, and the principles of Krishna consciousness definitely don't look like they're going to let me enjoy it. And that's why I didn't specifically want to take even Maharaj as my spiritual master, because I knew this personality means surrender, and I was like, there's no way I want to take a guru that's going to be very strict with me. But later, that consideration changed because of hearing and understanding and stopping this idea of just trying to enjoy oneself. So I forgot to mention the point that the discrimination of those who desire sense gratification is spoiled.
The purport to chapter 9, text 12, Mogasha, Moga Karmano, Moga Jnana Vichetasaha, Rakshasi Masurim Chaiva, Prakriti Mohinim Shritaha. The translation is, those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. That deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. Now, very interesting purport right in the first line. There are many devotees who assume themselves to be in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, but at heart do not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna as the absolute truth. That really hit me hard. This is, assume themselves to be in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, but at heart do not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna as the absolute truth. This is exactly the kind of people. And then Prabhupada writes, for them the fruit of devotional service, going back to Godhead, will never be tasted. And then Prabhupada, he says, in the end of that, okay, and then a couple of verses later, hold on, let me pull this up. So he says, the Lord, this is chapter 9, text 15, Prabhupada in the purport. The Lord tells Arjuna that those who are purely in Krishna consciousness and who do not know anything other than Krishna are called Mahatma. Yet there are persons who are not exactly in the position of Mahatma, but who also worship Krishna in different ways. Some of them have already been described as the distressed, the financially destitute, the inquisitive, and those who are engaged in the cultivation of knowledge. Then Prabhupada goes on, and basically the conclusion is that those classes of people are liable to fall down because they don't accept Krishna as the absolute truth.
That's interesting though, because it says that those who are seeking Krishna, like I think it's the 7th chapter, those who are seeking Krishna, those are the ones like Krishna said, these are the most dear to me. So you're pretty much saying all the other ones, they're liable to fall down, even though and most people come to Krishna consciousness by seeking wealth or because they're in distress. So you're saying majority of people are going to fall away then.
Yeah, but the point is that whatever devotional service they've rendered, it does not go in vain. They may not achieve perfection in this lifetime, but they will resume, in another lifetime, or in some fortunate cases, they may resume in this very lifetime also.
They may get purified.
But it's not a loss. Krishna makes that clear. But yet, yes, because they have not accepted Krishna as the absolute truth. At heart, Prabhupada makes this point, they won't achieve perfection.
It's interesting, just in the introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says the conception of God and the conception of absolute truth are not on the same level. Srimad Bhagavatam hits on the target of the absolute truth. The conception of God indicates the controller, whereas the conception of the absolute truth indicates the summum bonum, or the ultimate source of all energies. So, not just God. Absolute truth. Do you have a question?
One second.
You said that faith, having faith in Hare Krishna, is saying Hare Krishna, correct?
Saying Hare Krishna?
Like repeating
Chanting, yeah.
the chant is having the faith, correct?
You could chant and not have the faith, but the fact that one is chanting with proper conception, that's the point.
Proper conception of
what the mantra is and how the mantra itself. This is Krishna himself. This is Krishna, and that having that devotion, that praying, that let me please serve you, my Lord. It is not just meditation. It's not just seen as like some thing. It's like there's a proper understanding of what the mantra is ultimately.
So, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I say that because all people in Christianity also have faith,
Sure.
which we already established. So if they were to chant Jesus over and over and over again, that would keep them in the faith, correct? It would make the energy of what that is, just like Hare Krishna, it would bring you in it every day. That means you will keep the faith because you're saying it. You're listening to Christian music every day, keeping that spirit alive. So what is the difference in the two? Because it seems the same to me.
No, it's not. Higher conceptions, just like I said. One may be at a school level, one may be at a level of a professor. They don't have a complete conception of God. They don't understand who God is, what his name is, what he does. It's just some guy in the sky with the old beard. So there is no real full conception of who God is. They don't understand reincarnation. They don't understand how the living entities are suffering in this world, why we're different. So many things they don't understand.
What if they believe all of those things and still are Christians?
I mean, then you start to just define a devotee.
I'm sorry?
Then you just define a devotee. Then you just accept the Hare Krishna mantra. There's no, it's like you said, then you accept God as he is. Yeah, if you accept the principles of Krishna consciousness, the idea is that we're chanting God's names.
Okay.
So
It has also to do with the language itself, too.
the language,
Sanskrit
yeah.
is a vibrational frequency language, whereas English is a dead language. It's not going to give you the same frequency.
Yeah,
And
that
so
is,
you wouldn't get the same frequency saying Jesus as you would with Hare Krishna, because Hare Krishna is the Sanskrit language.
it's not just the Sanskrit language itself. It is a transcendental. It's beyond just like material language. So there's a little more intricacies to it. But Prabhupada says that they can chant Christ or Christos, Krishna, if you read in the Science of Self-Realization, that they will come up in their advancement. So that we're not, like Srila Prabhupada would say, not discouraging them from practicing their religion. We're trying to help everyone come to the platform of loving God. Yeah, understanding how to love God. So that is the point. So go ahead.
Just like what you just said, like you want everybody to understand God.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I don't want to say anything else. I'm going to go.
Yeah, so is there any other questions? You have a question? Yeah. Huh? Okay, you have a question over here.
I have a comment. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhupada-
Krishna. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, there's a question over here.
Oh, it's a comment. Ultimately, Prabhupada says that it's like there's an ocean, there's many rivers. And so every religion with faith ultimately takes you to God, maybe different names. But with sincerity, ultimately you come to the absolute truth.
Yeah.
Prabhupada says that.
Prabhupada said different things
Yes.
in this regard.
It's-
Just like you can't be God conscious by killing animals.
No, but ultimately,
So-
if you're sincere, very sincere, you know, and you're looking for the for the absolute truth, ultimately Krishna will guide you towards the ultimate, which is higher Krishna consciousness.
Yeah,
Krishna
definitely.
consciousness.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so it's no lost at
Yeah, yeah.
all. To keep,
They believe in God, at some
yeah,
platforms.
God is one. It's many names, Prabhupada says, but ultimately with sincerity and faith,
Yeah.
you'll come to that goal, you know,
Yeah.
if you're sincerely looking, because if you're sincere,
Yeah.
you're not, it's like you were talking, you know, some devotees, maybe just it's all philosophy, and then there's the sincerity and the faith of Krishna consciousness. So two different people, even in
It's
Krishna
true.
consciousness. So in Christianity, maybe some people say it's just by a title, but then you have people that are really looking for the absolute truth. And ultimately, Prabhupada says they'll come to that.
Yeah, that's true. It'll come up. It'll come up.
Thank you.
Okay. Iman Mataji. I will take one more and then we'll do it. We're going to do japa. Do you do japa? Okay. Yeah.
Yours at the beginning of the class, you had asked, you know, what is faith, and you also spoke about having some people, or we shouldn't have blind faith. When I, of course, I go out on books and I speak to some of these people, and you know, they say they have faith and they say they have belief, but then I ask, and just like how you said in the class, how do you know that faith is like a practical thing for you? Like, how can you practically put it in your life and show that this is the absolute, like, this is the actual goal, this is the answer that, you know, you're seeking. So my question is, and it goes into the discussion about, you know, when people come in and they take up Krishna consciousness, you know, some stay in and some fall away. So my question is so more regards into, like, you know, if you accept it, how am I trying to word this? If you accept it, I would ask, how do you know that practically this is it? I don't know if that makes any sense.
I mean, you're saying, you see by the result, like I was saying. You see that your life is practically changing. Like, you've given up the wrong principles of life, meaning that you've given up meat eating, you've given up this idea of performing sinful activities, taken up Krishna consciousness seriously, giving up material desires. There's no desire to try to advance materially as we go on in Krishna consciousness. We're more satisfied. So those are symptoms of it. We can see by its practical, you know, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, pratyaksha vagamam dharmam. It is seen in our lives that the devotees who take up Krishna consciousness seriously, they're becoming very saintly in character. And Krishna defined, and then in the 13th chapter, he lists all those characteristics of a devotee who is becoming pure. 12th or the 13th chapter? 13th chapter, I think it's the first text or something, of the one who has become purified, or the sadhu. Yeah, 13:8 to 12, he defines all of these characteristics. So we can look through that and see that those qualities are becoming manifest in our lives. So it's seen like that. It's not just belief, but we see even devotees who come in initially in Krishna consciousness, and a few years later, how different they are. How different they are in their behavior, in their speech, in their demeanor. So it's a purifying process, and we can see that in our lives. So that's how we see it. We see, okay, your whole perspective on life changes. That's what, like we're discussing faith, that's what it does. And so, yeah, it become Vairagya Vidya. You develop knowledge, and there's renunciation. And so, okay, all right, let's do something practical. And so we're going to chant Hare Krishna. Everybody's got the beads on them. Can I get one too? I think everybody's been. This is your first time here?
Here, yes.
Yeah, but you know how to use the beads and chant. You've chanted on the beads before?
Yeah, mostly just chanting without the beads, but.
Okay. All right, I'll quickly show how to hold the beads. There's the little tuft of hair here, but it's the first one after that with the thumb on top. And then on that bead, we're chanting the whole mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then we move to the next one, and we keep on going. And just focusing on the mantra, focusing on the sound vibration. So, we'll do what? We'll go till 3:30. Yeah, okay, 4 minutes, okay? All right, everyone together, we'll do it in unison. 3, 2, 1. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. Thank you very much. So, again, I mean, you all know we have it every week. So please come and participate. Very nice. I'm really happy to hear that you've chanted 16 rounds.
Yes.
Next thing is you got to come to the morning program.
I've done it once.
You came here once?
Yes.
At like, 4:30. I'm talking about like 4:30 in the morning. One day.
You know what? I'll do it before the end of the year.
That's a perfect.
You know, work slows down, so I can do it before the end of the year.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect. So please. You came for the